Welcome, level uppers, to a special segment here. We're going to review a movie. I don't usually do that too often, but I saw a really great one last night, one that's going to be nominated for a ton of awards, I'm sure. It already won Golden Globe for Best Picture, Golden Globe for Best Actor, Best Director, and maybe even more. I'm not sure. There might have been another one in there too, but it's kind of making the rounds, and that's good news for the Oscars. You can see it on the TV already. It is The Revenant, stars Leonardo DiCaprio. It's directed by Alejandro G. Iñárritu. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. It's the same guy who did Birdman last year, which also won Best Director and Best Picture, if I remember right. So this guy's on a roll. He might take those awards 2 years in a row, something that you don't see pretty often. But I've been hearing great things about this. I wanted to see from the beginning, ever since I saw the trailers for it, knowing that it was kind of inspired by a true story. It takes liberties, of course, with that because it takes place in the early 1800s, kind of frontier time. So it's the story is you got this frontier man. His name is Hugh Glass, played by Leonardo DiCaprio, and I guess he's upper class frontiersman. He's one of the best guides, and he's a part of this kind of military group that is hunting down pelts and whatnot during this time when you had the Native Americans. And as you've probably seen in the trailers, things kind of go wrong when Hugh Glass is ambushed by a grizzly bear mother protecting her cubs, of course. It's not like some villainous thing. It's just the bear protecting her cubs. And it is brutal. And Hugh Glass is messed up. It just, I can't even explain how brutal this movie is when he gets messed up. And then because of that, his team, who has already been decimated by a Native American attack, are trying to get him back to camp. One guy named Fitzgerald says that he thinks they should kill Glass because he's dragging them down. And then it becomes this thing where men stay behind to take care of Glass. Things go crazy, and Glass has to try and make his way back to camp after being brutally savaged by this bear. Now, one of the first things I want to talk about is the bear attack in this movie. You could give this movie an Oscar on the bear attack alone. I can't tell, honestly, if it was CGI or real. I've heard that it was a real bear. I'm sure there was a little bit of CGI mixed in there. But this bear attack probably occupies about 5 minutes of the movie when Glass is alone. He kind of gets separated from his group, and this grizzly bear attacks him. And some people will look at it as almost comical, but it's comical in a good way, I would say. It's one of those, are you kidding me kind of comedies. Like, I cannot believe what is happening on screen before my eyes right now. It's so graphic, so brutal, so visceral that your mouth is like jaw open, like, holy crap, I cannot believe they pulled this off. Especially considering that it's not like a super high budget movie. Just everything about the scene is unbelievable, from the CGI to hopefully the real bear to Leonardo DiCaprio's acting. Stellar. So that's the first thing I want to say, is it's worth seeing for that bear attack alone. But everything following it too is, I don't want to spoil anything. I'll talk about the bear attack because that's in the trailer. I don't want to spoil too much, but Miss Mel says comical, dude, it's terrified me. It terrified me too, but there are people saying it's comical, and I understand what they mean. It's comical in that it's so over the top. It goes so far and drags it out, and I don't mean that in a bad way. It drags out this bear attack so far, it just keeps going. It's like, can this get any worse? But it does. So following that, it stays intense, because I can tell you, when the movie ended, all of us, we kind of looked around, stayed in the theater, just sitting there, and we're like, what did you think? And all of us had that one word. That's all we had for it, was intense. It's 100% the truth. The things that this guy went through, if it's true, if everything that this guy went through in the movie is true, holy crap, it's an amazing story. And honestly, what Leonardo DiCaprio went through just doing this role is unbelievable. The guy deserves an Oscar if this actually all happened on screen the way it seems to have happened. If he was really in this sub-freezing water a lot in the movie, I mean a lot, in the elements, really, the environment, the weather, the blizzard, just everything you can imagine, it's just brutal in every way, and they don't hold back at all. The director, Iñárritu, from what you can tell, he was in this environment, like, no holds barred, shooting everything, amazing, beautiful, wide shots. It's worth seeing again for that. We had close-up seats. We were in the third row, and that's something that I don't normally like to do. I don't like to be that close. Thank God we had the reclinable seats, so you don't have to bend your neck back. But I might have actually enjoyed the movie more sitting so close to the screen, because the scale, the epic scale of the environments and everything going on, it really suited that kind of viewing, that kind of experience. Now, one other thing I do want to mention in this, Fitzgerald, who is kind of the villain of the movie, the one that wants to leave Glass behind after he's been attacked by the bear, and the one that eventually stays behind with him, is played by Tom Hardy. And I must say, I think his performance is just as good as DiCaprio's, and I hope he gets enough attention for this role. He wasn't nominated for a Golden Globe for Best Supporting Actor. I really hope he's nominated for Best Supporting Actor during the Oscars, because he needs some credit for this. He is just as into this role as DiCaprio is. Granted, DiCaprio goes through so much more as a character and as an actor, and he has to show all of that purely through expression and face, because he doesn't talk that much. Glass does not talk a lot in the film, and it makes sense why he won it. I mean, the guy is on his own for the most part, so it makes sense why he wouldn't talk too much. The other side that I haven't even touched on at all, and that's the thing, is it's hard to talk about this movie without spoiling things, is the father-son dynamic. Leonardo DiCaprio, Hugh Glass has a half Native American son. I don't want to say what happened to the mother or whatnot, but he has a half Native American son who's traveling with him. And because of that, because of the color of his skin, his other members of the party kind of look down on the son. There's this racism going on. But the love between Glass and his son is so apparent from the moment the movie starts. Like, you don't even really need to hear too many words between the two of them. And a lot of it's in a different language anyway, but it doesn't matter. The emotion is there. And that's a testament, again, to DiCaprio's acting, but also to I'm not sure who played the son, but he did a great job. And that was really the emotional heart of the movie, was that. And I can say it brought me to, not full on tears, but I got misty eyed several times in this movie, because of that relationship that the two of them had, and the things that, Glass was willing to do for his son. Again, I don't want to spoil too much, but I can't say enough good things about this movie. It's 100% worth seeing in the theaters, for the performances, for the visceral action, for the environment, for the landscape. It's a beautiful movie through and through. It gets, my one maybe minor complaint is that it slows down a little bit in the middle. It drags just a bit for a moment there, but it ends incredibly strong. It starts incredibly strong, and it has a lot of those Inarritu qualities that it seems like moving forward he's going to have, like the long shots, some of them being 5 minutes long, even though there are some trickery going on in those scenes, transitions that are hidden. You can tell that it's an Inarritu film already. You can see the vibe that this guy has, the vibe that he's giving off, the style that he has, just like you can tell a Fincher film. You know, there's something that you can tell about a director, and this guy has that style that you're going to be able to know when it's Inarritu, and that's a great thing. So check out The Revenant. It's in theaters now. It's probably going to be nominated for a ton of Academy Awards. Best Actor, Best Director, for sure. It's going to get Best Director. It's going to get Best Cinematography. And the music, too. I can't remember who the composer was, but the music was great as well. So I guess that's it for this movie review. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully we'll get some more of these going on this channel in the future. But until next time, take care. And as always, don't forget to level up.